All right, now there are some tests for divisibility, ways, sort of little tricks, if you will, that we can see whether a number is divisible by something or not. And these will come in very handy later on when we start working with fractions. But for right now, we've included a list here that says, a number is divisible by 2 if it ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. If it's an even number, it is divisible by 2. If it's divisible by 3, then you can add up the numbers, the digits, and if that's divisible by 3, then the whole thing is divisible by 3. We'll do some examples in a second. Now, 2, 3, 5, and 10 are probably your really biggest ones that we deal with. So if we're looking at divisibility by 5, is whether it ends in a 0 or a 5. And divisible by 10 is only numbers that end in a 0. So if you know the others, that's kind of nice, but if you don't, it's okay. The 2, the 3, the 5, and the 10 are the most important ones to know. All right, let's try some practice here. Here we have some numbers. We have the number 60 to begin with, and we're going to see whether it's divisible by 2, 3, 5, or 10. All right, divisible by 2. Yes, it is, because this is an even number. Is it divisible by 3? Well, yes, it is, because 6 plus 0 equals 6, if we were to add up those digits. And 6 is divisible by 3. You make it a little bit simpler to deal with. Is it divisible by 5? Yes, it is, because it ends in a 0 or a 5. And is it divisible by 10? Yes, it is, because it ends in a 0. So that's how those tests will help you. All right, let's look at 92. Is it divisible by 2? Yes, it is, because it is an even number. Is it divisible by 3? Well, 9 plus 2 is 11, and 11 is not divisible by 3, so no. Is it divisible by 5? No, it's not, because 5 has to end in a 0 or a 5, so no. And is it divisible by 10? No, because it has to end in a 0 in order to be divisible by 10. Now the number 445. Is that divisible by 2? No, it's not, because it's not an even number. What about 3? Well, 4 plus 4 would be 8, plus 5 would be 13. 13 is not divisible by 3, so the whole thing is not. Is it divisible by 5? Yes, it is, because it ends in a 5 or a 0. And is it divisible by 10? No, because it doesn't end in a 0. So you just really have to know those tests. All right, the last one here, 903. Is that divisible by 2? No, that's not an even number. Is it divisible by 3? Well, yes, it is, because 9 plus 3 is 12, and 12 is divisible by 3. What about 5? No, it would have to end in a 5 or a 0. What about 10? No, it would have to end in a 0.